Hello students! Welcome back to Class Unboxed. My name is Cian and I'm going to be your teacher for today in Media and Information Literacy. Before we proceed to our new lesson for today, let us have a quick recap of our lesson last time. Here are our goals for today. Today, students, we are going to define and explore the world of plagiarism. Also, we are going to enumerate and differentiate the types of plagiarism and know the importance of copyright and how it works. Are you ready? Let's start! Today, students, we are going to focus on the first part of legal, ethical, and societal issues in media and information, starting with plagiarism. Plagiarism is a serious issue and should not be tolerated. Plagiarism, according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, is the act of using another person's words or ideas without giving credit to that person. Another definition given by Oxford Dictionary is that plagiarism is the practice of taking someone else's work or ideas and passing them off as one's own. Here in the Philippines, many cases of plagiarism sparked and made headlines. In April 2010, business mogul Manny V. Pangilinan delivered a commencement speech at the graduation rites of Ateneo de Manila University. His whole speech was reportedly copied from famous people such as J.K. Rowling, Oprah Winfrey, former U.S. President Barack Obama, and Emmy Award-winning late-night host Conan O'Brien. Manny V. Pangilinan apologized to the university and to the 2010 graduating class of Ateneo de Manila University. For that incident, he decided to step down as the chair of Ateneo de Manila University Board of Trustees. In that same year, 2010, the Department of Tourism received a lot of criticisms from the public after discovering that the logo they have created for their campaign, Pilipinas Kay Ganda, was very similar to the Poland's logo for their tourism campaign. This was clearly pointed out from a Filipino blogger named Spanky Hizon Enriquez. Now, if we will look closely to the picture, the strokes and even the style of the logo was very similar to the original, which is from Poland. The Department of Tourism Undersecretary Vicente Enteng Romano III took the full responsibility of the said fiasco and resigned from his post afterwards. Now, who wouldn't forget this series of plagiarism made by Senator Tito Sotto III? How did it all happen? Let's go back to its history. In August 2012, the Chief of Staff of Senator Tito Sotto III admitted that they copied a work from not just one but two more American bloggers regarding lawmakers' speech against the reproductive health bill. Amidst of the controversy, Senator Tito Sotto III remained strong on their standpoint and remained apologetic. Sotto pointed out that plagiarism wasn't considered a crime at all. You see, plagiarism may not be considered a crime, but once you committed this false move, it may affect your credibility as a person. In the advisory issued by the Department of Justice, plagiarism may not be considered a crime unless it also constitutes copyright infringement under the Intellectual Property Code. Therefore, if plagiarism amounts to copyright infringement, the penalty is 1 to 3 years of imprisonment and a fine of 50,000 pesos to 150,000 pesos for the first offense. For the second offense, 3 years and 1 day to 6 years of imprisonment and a fine of 150,000 pesos to 500,000 pesos. And for the third and subsequent offenses, 6 years and 1 day to 9 years of imprisonment and a fine of 500,000 pesos to 1,500,000 pesos. It's time for a pop quiz. He resigned in his post as chair of the Board of Trustees of Ateneo de Manila University after the plagiarism incident. Is it A, Senator Tito Sotto III, B, Vicente Romano III, C, Manny Villar, or letter D, Manny V. Pangilinan? You only have 10 seconds to answer the question. 10 seconds starts now. And the answer is letter D, Manny V. Pangilinan. C. Plagiarism is not a joke. Now, there are different types of plagiarism that we should be aware so that next time we would avoid doing it. The first one is called direct plagiarism. In this type of plagiarism, it is done by simply copying someone else's work without acknowledging the author or even quotation marks from the original work. The second type of plagiarism is called self-plagiarism. This occurs when one submits his or her own previous work or revises some part of his or her previous work without the permission from the educators involved. It is like recycling your own work, but to avoid this, it is best to cite your previous work thoroughly. The third type of plagiarism is called mosaic plagiarism. Mosaic plagiarism happens when someone borrows phrases or words from a source without using quotation marks or finds similar words to replace the author's original work. Actually, it is sometimes called as patch writing. Now, the last type of plagiarism that we have is accidental plagiarism. This type of plagiarism occurs when a person neglected to cite their sources or unintentionally paraphrases a source by using similar words, group of words, and sentence structure without attribution. It's time for a pop quiz! What type of plagiarism when one submits his own previous work or revises some parts of his previous work? Is it A. Accidental plagiarism, B. Direct plagiarism, C. Mosaic plagiarism, or D. Self-plagiarism? You only have 10 seconds to answer the question. 10 seconds starts now. And the answer is letter D, self-plagiarism. Earlier in our lesson, we mentioned the word copyright. You see, in order for us to avoid plagiarism, this is one of the little things we need to be aware when we tend to use other people's creation. For us to be more familiar, let's start with the term intellectual property. According to the Intellectual Property of the Philippines, intellectual property refers to the creations of the mind. It can be an invention, a design, or a brand name. There are different types of intellectual property. The first one is copyright. It is a legal term used to describe the rights that creators have over their literary and artistic work. Books, music, sculpture, films, computer programs, databases, advertisements, maps, and technical drawings are protected by the artist's copyright once it is created and released. The next type of intellectual property is called patent. Patent is an exclusive right granted for an invention. With this, the owner is given the right to decide how or whether the invention can be used by others. The third type of intellectual property is called trademark. Trademark is a sign that distinguishes the goods or services of one company or enterprise from others. The trademark is basically comprised of the letters T and M. If it's R, therefore it is a registered trademark. Here are some examples. The fourth type of intellectual property is called industrial design. This constitutes ornamental or aesthetic aspect of a product. Handicrafts, jewelry, vehicles, appliances are mainly the subject of industrial designs that ranges from fashion to industrial goods. The last type of intellectual property is called indications and appellations of origin. It is a sign used on goods that have a specific geographical origin and possesses the qualities, characteristics, and reputation that are essentially attributed to the place where the product was originated. It's time for a pop quiz! What type of intellectual property that refers to the exclusive right granted for an invention? Is it A. Patent, B. Copyright, C. Trademarks, or letter D. Industrial design? You only have 10 seconds to answer the question. 10 seconds starts now. answer is letter A, patent. Now here's the thing. We can use some copyrighted material without a license only for a certain purpose. We can use it for commentary, research, reporting, teaching, and making criticisms as well. And we call that fair use. It means these materials without license can be used only for a purpose. But you must take note that you have to give credit to the owner and do not make money from the copyrighted work you just use. Now, the signs you see on your screen are what you call Creative Commons. Creative Commons is an American non-profit organization devoted on expanding the range of creative works available for everyone for sharing. The organization has released several copyright licenses known as Creative Commons. These are licenses free of charge to the public. To know more about them, you may visit their official website on www.creativecommons.org/about. Now, when you see this logo, it means that the work cannot be used, adapted, copied, or published without the permission of the owner. It only means that we can use, adapt, copy, or publish the material once we are permitted by the owner. Now, when you see this logo, it means that the work may be used without permission but only for certain circumstances. Some creators set rules for their product and for the way their product is used. For example, when you see this logo, it's called attribution, and you are required to give credit to the owner. Now, when you see this logo, it means it's non-commercial. You cannot make a profit from the product you have used, adapted, or borrowed. Now, when you see this logo, it means no derivative works. It means you can't change the content and must stay original. Lastly, when you see this logo, it means share alike. You can change the content, but you have to make sure to inform others your new work using the same license from the original. Now, there are some work that can be used, adapted, copied, or published without restrictions, and we call that public domain. It means we don't need to ask the permission of the owner. Before we wrap up to our lesson, let's have a quick recap. On our next episode, we are going to learn more on the part 2 of legal, ethical, and societal issues in media and information. See you next time here on Class Unboxed. My name again is Sir Cian. Stay safe and God bless you all. Bye!